Then Imam Ahmad goes on to say, وَلَا يَحِلُّ قِتَالَ السُّلْطَانِ وَلَا الْخُرُوجُ عَلَيْهِ لِأَحَدٍ مِّنَ النَّاسِ فَمَنْ فَعَلَ ذَلِكَ فَهُوَ مُبْتَدِعٌ عَلَى غَيْرِ السُّنَّةِ وَالطَّرِيقِ. It is not permissible to fight against the ruler and nor to go out against him. No one has that right to do that. Whomsoever does that, then he is an innovator upon a methodology other than the methodology of the Sunnah. Shaykh Rabi'a goes on to say, لِأَنَّ الْخُرُوجَ عَلَيْهِ مُخَالِفٌ لِلنُّصُوصِ. Because rebelling and going out against the rulers, it is in opposition to the texts. What has been mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah, الثابت عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, the texts that are established and proven from the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, ومخالف لأصل عظيم من أصول أهل السنة والجماعة حتى ولو كان كافرا لا تخرج عليه إلا إذا كان هناك قدرة وهناك مصلحة راجحة وليس هناك مفسدة راجحة حينئذ إذا أمكن التخلص منه فذاك وإلا فالأصل الصبر. Here now Shaykh Rabi'a, he mentions that the people who go out and they cause that chaos and corruption and rebelling and revolting, they are going against a great principle from the principles of Ahlul Sunnah. So pay attention to the principle that the Shaykh mentions. This great principle from the principles of Ahlul Sunnah is that it is not permissible to go out and rebel and revolt even if the ruler was a kafir. If the ability does not exist, if the people do not have the ability anyway, then irrelevant of even if the ruler was a kafir, let alone talking about the Muslim rulers, even if he was a disbeliever, then without that ability it is impermissible to go out in the first place, let alone any other reasoning or explanation. Then on top of that the Shaykh mentions there must be maslaha rajiha. The benefit must outweigh the harm. وَلَيْسَ هُنَاكَ مَفْسَدَ رَاجِحَةً. The benefit of doing something like that, if there was a situation where it was allowable, then it would have to be where there is ability and there is the overwhelming benefit from that scenario as opposed to the overwhelming corruption that arises. Now when you look around the world everywhere, what benefit have they achieved? The corruption which has occurred far, far outweighs any benefits that they have brought about. The corruption that has been incurred is far greater. So here this is a principle that even if anything else could be justified, then it would still come down to this principle that it requires ability and the benefit must outweigh the harm. There must be an overwhelming benefit which overrides the harm, and that is something which you do not see in real life examples across the world where they have rebelled and they are revolted. Then their end situation in that country is far, far worse than what they had before that. They have no security left, they have no safety left, they have corruption everywhere, there is no rule of law, there is no authority, there is no government in place, there is nothing. There is corruption and chaos after they rebel and they revolt against their rulers. So here the Shaykh says this is a great principle that they oppose as well. Let alone anything else, this very principle that they do not even establish any benefit from it. The overwhelming corruption overrides any benefit that they may perceive or they claim. Amma wa huwa Muslim fabad. That's talking about even if it was a disbeliever. Now the Shaykh says, what about when the ruler is actually a Muslim? When the ruler is actually a Muslim, فَمَا دَامَ فِي دَائِرَةِ الْإِسْلَامِ وَمَا دَامَ يُصَلِّي فَلَا يَجُوزُ الْخُرُوجُ عَلَيْهِ. As for the ruler that is a Muslim, then as long as he is within the fold of Islam, as long as he is within the fold of Islam, and as long as he prays, then it is not permissible to go out against this ruler. It is not permissible to rebel and revolt against the Muslim rulers as long as they are upon Islam and they are within the fold of Islam and they are praying, until you see the clear kufr from them. But even if you see that clear kufr, and even if, let's say, in a situation everything was justified, you would still come back to the principles of Ahlul Sunnah, that the overwhelming benefit has to override the corruption and the chaos and the instability and the insecurity and the killing that arises from such an action. So there are many things Ahlul Sunnah they put down for the behavior of the people and the manhaj and the methodology that you tread upon. Not like the chaos of the Khawarij who ignore all of this and they blindly go and fight and bomb and do whatever they please. That is the way of the Khawarij and the Takfiris, who do not pay any attention to the rules of Ahlul Sunnah, to the principles and the understanding of Ahlul Sunnah, of the Quran and the Sunnah.